Ooh, what's going on? What's going on? So Devin Haney comes out victorious. It goes out to what's that place called? Australia. Beats and breaks out of Cambosis, and wins a 12-round easy decision, basically. Which is kind of funny because on two of the judges' cards, it was actually pretty close. And if Cambosis had actually pushed the issue just a little bit, throw his hands a little bit more, be a little more busy, he would have got a draw, or he could even won that fight. He needed to push the issue for about 2 more rounds. We did as little work as he did in that fight, pretty much about 2 rounds. But he was just too slow, man. He was just super slow. Devin was just able to hit him with the jab, keep moving, keep him away, keep him from fighting on the inside, and get an easy victory. And like I said before, people was talking about how he was going to stop Cambosis. They were talking about how this was going to be a Mayweather-Gotti type of situation. And I said that wasn't going to be the case. He's not that type of fighter. And I said if he tried to be that type of fighter, he was going to get hurt or get knocked out. And he needed to stay within himself. And that's exactly what he did. He stayed within himself. He understood that, hey, I'm going to do me. He didn't make some dumb mistake as he did in the Linares fight, trying to get the knockout, trying to really sit down in his punches and do something that you're not even set up to do, stylistically. So, so congratulations to him for being himself and not getting outside of himself and becoming undisputed. You know what I mean? This is what he wanted for a long time, and couldn't get it done with Eddie Hearn, because that's trash. Eddie Hearn's trash. He can't get fights. He was in a space where he wasn't getting any kind of viewerships. His analytics were trash. And as soon as does this fight on ESPN, it spikes up. Like a stock that was $1 and all of a sudden is worth $50, $60 all of a sudden, $100. And that's what basically happened. And this is the difference between being on a closed platform and then fighting on an actual network where people can actually see you. And because I've said it before in previous videos, if you look way back, a year, 2 years back, 3 years back, said that he took the upfront money when it came to the zone, but he actually lost money. People always talk about how he made this amount of money, made a ton of money. He lost money because if he had stayed with Showtime, stayed with PBC, he would have been able to have grown a lot faster, grown substantially faster. He would have been financially in a space where he would have been making the kind of money he was making within a year or so. I believe a year, 2 years, and he would have surpassed that, just like the Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis used to make less money than him. He came in the gate making less money than Devin. But you can see how Gervonta Tank Davis has grown in the same amount of time, and we see where Devin is literally the same amount of time. This could have been him. I'm not saying he would have been as big as Tank, but I could have easily seen him doing $1.5 million gates, doing 150,000 plus pay-per-views, and it would have set himself up, which I believe probably would have been this year, where he and Tank would have been fighting in a monstrous fight this year. But he picked the path that he picked, and as soon as he switched over to ESPN, like I said, everything's gonna spike up, and that's exactly what happened. He's trending, everything like that, and he's gonna get a lot bigger than he was, at the zone. He does have a ceiling though. A lot of people are being hyped up, saying he's gonna turn into a star, he's gonna be a superstar, everything like that. He's not gonna be that. It's not conducive with being on top rank. When you're on top rank, becoming a superstar is just not conducive with what they do, especially you being a black fighter. Like they've said themselves, we don't know how to promote them. And it's just a space that they're not going to get him. And you already see how they're stifling him. See how they're stifling him from the commentary. You got PBC, you got ESPN commentators. They're sitting there quiet. They're upset about the fact that he's winning the fight. You're having Timothy Bradley have to, keep up with the comments and everything like that. You've seen the projectile. They showed all the undisputed fighters, and all of a sudden there've been all these undisputed fighters that are 135 pounds. Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. So they're already disrespecting them when it comes to that as well. At the end of the fight, whatever they get, I don't even know the Testarusto, with Tort, whatever his name is, Joe Testarosta. He's over there, speaking very negative about Dev, trying to say that, Cambosis, we know that Teofimo Lopez wasn't really himself when he fought into that fight. He was going through health issues, and is it trying to minimize Devin's win? trying to minimize his win and what he did that day. And Timothy Bradley had to step in and he had to squash it. He had to stop that from happening. No, we're not going to take credit from him. He went over there, he beat that man. And then, he came into this fight against Devin, and Devin did what he needed to do to be victorious. He's undisputed, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to take away from his win tonight. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted somebody that was going to go ahead and roll and flow with what was being said. But congratulations for Bradley for not running with that, for not going with that BS and making sure that man gets his just due for what he did in that ring. And then you see Max Kellerman. Oh, I guess we can call you undisputed now. I guess we can now call you a champion now. It's all starting, and this is just the beginning of it. And he gets better. It's going to continue. That's why I said it's just he's not going to be a star. In Inoue, they're going to push him. Inoue beats an 80-year-old, and all of a sudden now he's number 2 pound for pound. All of a sudden now he's number 2 pound for pound after beating this 80-year-old. It's freaking ridiculous. And that's who they're going to push. They're going to push him. They're going to push Lomachenko. These are the guys that they're going to push. It's not going to be Devin. We see with Shakur. Shakur, if he was with Mayweather Promotions or if he was with PBC, he'd be a star right now. But he's not because of who he's with. He could be a star right now. He could really be progressing and moving a lot further and faster than he is right now. But because of who he's with, that's not happening. Because of who he's with, that's not happening. They're doing everything to stifle him. Yeah, they gave him this little fight. They gave him the fight with Valdez. He got his little 2 belts. They'll get you belts. They gave Terrence Crawford belts too. They made sure Terrence Crawford was undisputed. They made sure Devin Haney's undisputed. It doesn't matter. They're going to stifle you. They're going to shrink you down. They're going to keep you from reaching your potential as it pertains to becoming a real superstar out there. They're not going to promote your fights like that. And even though they're going to get you certain fights, they'll get him a fight with Lomachenko, but they're going to get him a fight with Lomachenko, hoping Lomachenko beats him. And if he beats Lomachenko, all right, cool. Lomachenko was old. He had spent all this time in the war, in the Ukraine or whatever, and that's why things are the way they are. They're going to push that. That's what's going to happen with that. They're going to push that narrative, and they're going to shrink him down, stifle him again as it pertains to him becoming a star. This is what they do. And it's not going to change just because Devin Haney's there. I always say things. I always have to say it when it comes to Devin Haney. Devin Haney is not a special snowflake. Okay? He's not. And what I mean by that, I'm not sure. I'm not talking about it as a person. I'm not talking about it as a talent. He has an incredible, intelligent, incredible father. He's an intelligent man himself. And he's skilled. Skilled. He has everything. If he had went to Showtime, went that route, PBC route, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit of what he could have became. Like Jaron Ennis. Watch what happens to Jaron Ennis in the next 24 months. Watch how much he progresses and how big he becomes in the sport. Because he's signed to the right people. So he's good. But when you're signed to Top Rank, he's not like Devin Haney's not like, he's not the same issues, the same problems that everybody else has. He's going to have those same issues too. Those issues somehow don't just like disappear when it pertains to him. It's not like just because he's Devin Haney, them trying to stifle him and him being on ESPN somehow just doesn't matter. Just like when he was on DAZN and he was with Eddie Hearn, I said he's not going to get certain fights. He's not going to get big fights. He's not going to grow as a fighter. And he didn't. Because he wasn't a special snowflake and he couldn't overcome all that. And regardless of, what's going on with him now, he's not going to be able to overcome this either. He's not going to be able to overcome Top Rank, ESPN, and the way that they do things over there. He's not going to be able to overcome that. He's not. He's going to have the same troubles, the same exact troubles. And if he wants to become, quote, a superstar, whatever it is, his best bet is going to be to try to somehow, if he can, fix the relationship he has with PBC, with Showtime, and try to maneuver himself over there probably when he's like at 20, 26, 27 or so. Because he's going to have to sit out a year and a half. in order to leave. He's just this not Top Rank is not a place where you do 2-3 years and then you do 3 fights and then you just go. That's not how they do things. It's not going to happen like that. You know, he's going to have to make another sacrifice, which is going to be a part of his career if he wants to move into a spot where he can really catapult. Or he could just stay there, which I think he's going to do. I think he's going to end up staying over there and fighting over there at 135 and then staying there at 140, which will be fine. But there is a ceiling on what is a cap on what you can become on ESPN. And him being him is not going to somehow change it. He's not some kind of, like I said, Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, even right now, Shakur Stevenson, all the same thing, you know. But regardless, it's still congratulations to him. He did a great job. Against all odds, with a lot of things against him, he went out there. He came out victorious. He's undisputed, and good luck to him and the rest of his career. We'll see what happens with him next. For now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.